So before I share with you anything, let me just say first of all that I am absolutely not claiming to have mastered my mind. I'm just someone who really is trying to master their mind. And I know that mastery is something that you never truly achieve, but that you keep pursuing. And the reason for that, and when I say this, I just mean I'm trying to take control of my mind. I'm striving to take control of my mind so I'm not so prone to regret and overthinking or ruminating like I used to be. And more specifically, how that would look is that I would be just overthinking about, well, the future, trying to decide what to do because I didn't know what to do. I would be paralyzed, literally, or I would be worrying about what might happen. Or worse, I think this was a more common thing for me, I would be ruminating about the past. So I'd remember something that had happened and that maybe it was a bad decision, or maybe it was even something that wasn't even in my control, but I just didn't like the way my reality looked or something. And I'd be ruminating in this state of regret. And it's not that nowadays I never have regret come up or that I never get lost in thought, in negative thoughts. It's that I've learned to notice this when it comes up and I've learned to let it go and control it more and release it. And I've been working on my mind for years now. I know that sounds strange because most of us never do that. We go to the gym to train our body, but we never train our mind. Yet I have been doing that over the past couple of years. And the reason I'm making this video now is because it's not until now that I've realized and understood this deeply, as in why it is that we're so prone to overthinking and rumination and getting lost in thought when we don't want to be. It's uncomfortable. Because I just thought to myself today that it's so strange how it seems to me that every other species seems to be at least mostly, locked into the present. For example, if you look at a dog, people often say that they're the happiest things ever. And you can often see a dog that is either neutral or maybe even sad, almost looks sad for some reason, and then moments later, all of a sudden, it can be happy, jumping and almost even excited, jumping out its skin almost, you know? Because dogs don't remember and don't think back, oh, this happened, this person treated me badly, I'm gonna I'm gonna act I'm gonna act in a certain way now. They're just locked in the present. So if they're all of a sudden happy, they'll be happy. And we seem to have lost this ability in at least partly. And actually, I will say first of all that even though this is something that we find a nuisance, this ability to think in this way rationally and conceive thoughts is actually one of our most powerful tools. But like any powerful tool, it matters that we learn to use the tool as opposed to letting the tool use us. As Stan Lee said, with great power comes great responsibility. So if we don't take responsibility and control of our mind, then it might turn out the opposite way, in that it's not a useful tool, but it's the opposite, it hurts us. And from an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense why we have this, because our ancestor, as opposed to seeing footprints or paw prints and just walking past them and ignoring them, they might have looked at those paw prints and thought to themselves, is that a wolf, maybe? Could that have been this morning? If so, then could they, or this wolf or this pack, could they have been heading towards the river? Well, if so, can I make it back to my camp in time? Or when could they have passed here? You know, they think things through because it helps them survive, potentially. It helps them think things through, and that's one of our most powerful assets. We can learn not just from experience, but also from imagination. And I say imagination because back then our ancestors may not have, well, most likely did not have quite as complex language as we have nowadays, or way of expressing ourselves with words. So they probably thought in images more than we do, as opposed to language. But nonetheless, the point stands. It helped them survive, and that's a key thing here. Evolution optimizes for survival, not for peace of mind, and that's the issue nowadays, because we no longer live in a world that's so dangerous as our ancestors did, yet we still more or less have the same brain that our ancestors did. So we're like a computer that's running on old hardware that's not been updated to our modern world. And that's no wonder, because in relative terms, our lifestyles have changed rapidly over the past couple hundred years, couple hundred and couple thousand years. And so it's just not even possible that evolution could have adapted it so quickly. And so it's up to us to proactively take control of our minds rather than waiting, because obviously we're not going to evolve in our lifetimes exactly. So enough of that, and time to share how I've worked on this. And there are a few different things that I've done. And I will say, first of all, that this is absolutely not a hack, because any hack is just that, a hack. It's very surface level, it's very, very shallow. It might solve something for you in a moment, but in a moment later, it could just not work at all. Rather, what I'm sharing here is something that I've worked on over years, just like, using the same analogy again, going to the gym and training my body. I've been doing this progressively and gradually. I never expected my body to grow all of a sudden after going to the gym once or twice, but rather over years. I've seen progress. And one of the simplest things I've done, and I will use an analogy here comparing what I was like in the past. In the past, whenever I was ruminating and I was lost in regret, well, that was kind of like a deep or thick, dark layer of clouds, a thunderstorm that I just couldn't even control. I was at the mercy of it. I wasn't even consciously aware of it. I was just seeing myself soaked, if you will, in rain. Whereas nowadays, whenever I have any thought like this come up, it's more of a white cloud, which I can just let it drift by. And I use this analogy because I've been meditating consistently over the past few years. I mean, every single day. Sure, whenever I went on a family trip for a week, I didn't meditate then, or once a year or once or twice a year. But other than that, I've been extremely consistent with meditating. And that to me has been the equivalent of going to the gym and training my body, but for my mind. Reason being, like I just said with the cloud analogy, when I'm meditating and I'm focusing my breath, for example, then whenever a thought comes up, then I can recognize that thought or acknowledge that thought and see it as being there. Instead of being at the mercy of it, I can acknowledge it and be conscious of it intentionally, and intentionally potentially let go of it, just release it. Just imagine it's a cloud and let it pass by and take my focus back to my breath. And each time I do that, that's literally a rep. Just like doing push-ups for my chest, that's each one of those that I do. Every time I release a thought, that's like a rep. It's like a repetition. And over time, that's trained my mind to be more conscious and aware of my thoughts and to release them. Because our thoughts technically are not real. They're just not. If you look out, they're not real. Of course, they seem real to us because they're in our minds and we technically live in our minds. But other than that, they're not a real tangible thing. It's like a pop-up that's coming up on your computer screen that maybe it's a nuisance and you don't even care about it. Well, what do? You just press the X icon and you just close it. Well, why don't we learn to do that with our minds? Obviously, it's easier said than done. But like I said, over years, I'm sure you will already see a big difference after just weeks and months, but especially over years, that really is a game changer. And the second thing I've done, and this is practically the same thing as the first thing, except it's expanded to my whole life. Whenever I'm on a walk or I'm talking to someone or doing anything else, and a thought comes up, then because I've been meditating, I am now conscious of this thought coming up. I can see the thought, if you will, like a cloud. And what I do is I've developed a habit of snapping my fingers whenever a thought comes up. The reason is because I heard that in Buddhism, they have some kind of bell or something that goes ding and it brings you back into the present. I think they do it before meditating or something, but either way, I don't have a bell on me, so I do this. And that kind of reminds me that refocus on the present. It kind of tells me it's become a habit. And it's not like I'm walking around in public and I'm constantly doing this. If I'm in public and I don't want to snap my fingers, I won't. I'll just take control of my mind without doing this. But it's still a powerful thing. It's such a simple thing, but it makes it tangible. Instead of just thinking, okay, I'm going to release this thought, you do something tangible, and that kind of, it forms a connection, I think, in our minds of doing this and actually releasing the thought. And honestly, those are the two main things. As simple as that. And once again, I know it's simpler said than done, and I know that these seem potentially overly simple almost, but it works. It's helped me a lot. So yeah, that's all. I just wanted to share that because it's helped me a lot. And I used to, like I said, ruminate a lot. I hope it helps you. And well, now I'm gonna get back to my work, to filming. So all the best to you. Be mega. Ciao.